Let's practice to get a sound level. The level is good? Okay. So here we go. On the count of 3, we are unity. All across the country.
Move a foot to your left, your right.
but just put your face up there with ditto on it. Do a little sound check with you telling us your name and spelling it.
Move 6 inches to your right, Wendy.
Come on in, come on in.
Thank you for joining us today.
No, thank you all for doing this. Oh, did I get the mustard off my face?
Okay, yeah, you're fine.
Good morning, how are you? Good to see you.
While the 60s may have ushered in a new awakening of love and peace, this movement had long since begun decades ago during the late 1800s. In 1860, Myrtle and Charles Fillmore, founders of the Unity movement, were awakening to the power of prayer and to the sacred divine within us all. This movement of hope, peace, love, understanding, spiritual abundance, and inclusiveness would later catch on like wildfire and provide the strategy and the strength needed to grow and spread in communities across this nation, particularly in Nashville, Tennessee. 100 years ago, Elizabeth Pierce Sand began leading a small spiritual study group during a time of epic change for Nashville, Tennessee, and the Unity movement.
Understanding that we're all divine. To me, that was the biggest enlightenment.
It was this open-minded acknowledgement that everyone is a spiritual being, and at the highest level, everyone is equal.
My daughter now is 8, and I just love that they can grow up in a place that is filled with love and joy and positivity, and people that see them for who they are as creations of God.
100 years ago, the Earth was spinning on its axis on its usual orbit around the Sun. Closer to home, the world was engaged in its first global conflict. In America, the Model T was in production as the first affordable automobile, and we were just figuring out how to fly. In Nashville, the Great Fire of 1916 destroyed 500 homes and left 2,500 homeless. But by and large, the city was booming. This was the context within which Unity of Nashville was born.
Yeah, Jeff, you didn't tell me we were going to be doing all this walking.
Just a little walking.
We are at the corner of 4th and Church Street in downtown Nashville. 100 years ago, this was the site of the Maxwell House Hotel. It is also the site where Elizabeth Sands formed the first Bible study group to better understand the practical interpretations of Jesus. They met here, and here, and here, and probably other locations around Nashville. They met studying and praying in this fashion over the next 16 years until they formalized into the Unity ministry. 6 years later, they purchased their first building at 1816 Broad Street, and they called themselves the Unity Center of Christianity. Today, this is the site of the YWCA, but in 1965, it was the brand new home of First Church Unity. During construction, while the new church home was being built, some 300 congregation members continued to meet here at Hillsborough High School for the next 4 years. There is no place like home. And this today is Unity of Nashville, located at 5125 Franklin Pike. Located on 10 beautiful acres, Unity of Nashville is a center filled with infinite spiritual possibilities.
Today we're helping out with the church and we're going to do some yard work. We're going to pick up sticks, for example, and we're going to earn some points to go to rally, which is in the summer. People here today care about the campus and the church because we're all a family here. We're determined to show how much the church and Unity means to us as teenagers. Taking care of it is something that shows our compassion and our love for the church.
To me, it's a great joy to be able to take care of the property and make it look beautiful, and so that people feel like they can come, relax, and really feel like they're in a safe haven. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, and I love doing it.
That's great.
Shame, no tears of pain, everything set right, and I am home.
I think the main thing here is community, and we really respect our community and hold our community together with loving arms, and all the Unity people. Man, there's such a connection here that's like, it draws you back in. You're like, oh, these people are awesome, I want to see them again, and they believe all the things I believe in. And even if I didn't, they'd still accept me, which is like really cool.
There are times when I find myself alone in that building behind us, and I am struck by the fact that that is the culmination of 100 years of people giving us their time, their talents, their treasures, and their prayers that has brought Unity of Nashville to this point right now. That's a huge generational family that I am so proud and blessed to be part of.
How we doing this morning?
Good morning, everybody. This is a place where you are celebrated for the divine being that you are, the expression of spirit on this planet at this time.
How do you see yourself functioning in the world in a way that you will have deep satisfaction at the end of every day, that you will have true enjoyment in your workplace, in your relationships, in what you do for even fun? What do you see yourself doing if you're not doing it right now?
After my initial visit, I was stuck in that the principles and the messages was what I needed in my life at that time and today as well.
What was it about the teachings that spoke to you the most?
I never did believe in a hell under the ground and a heaven in the sky it never made any sense to me, even as a child. And so when I realized, and when it was made known to me, that our body is the temple of the living God, and we make our heaven or our hell, and it's a wonderful teaching. It's just wonderful. We are in charge of our life and affairs. We have no one to blame anything on. we have to take responsibility. It's a wonderful teaching.
When it is written in the Bible that ye are very gods, this is why. Because we can bring things into creation from the no thing to a thing. This is what a spiritual practice is all about.
Yeah, the message gets richer. The message gets deeper. The more work I'm willing to do on myself.
Sunday morning is a special time. I mean, just for people to want to come back to church and to be able to get that word out that it's not traditional and old-fashioned, that it's just a fun community place to be on Sunday morning.
So we love you and we thank you for being here today. We hope that you will be blessed and stimulated to become the best version of yourself moving forward after you leave this place today. So welcome to Unity of Nashville.
All is well, life is good, and I am truly blessed.
Because in theory, we could all have our spiritual connections and just sit in our houses and be fully awake and alive with the Christ Spirit within us. But I think everybody also craves a sense of community. And that's why I come to Unity too, because I've been here for 25 plus years, because I like that community. I love the individual spiritual relationship I have with God, but I love that sense of community.
And each time, we are Unity. All right?
Are we waving?
At the end, if you want to wave, let's do that one on the third try.
Okay.
Okay? On the third try. As this movement continued to grow in Nashville, many followers began to subscribe to a positive, practical practice that would open their hearts and awaken their minds to a level of consciousness that would later take on several spiritual meanings.
That we are eternal spiritual beings, but we are having this physical experience, and this physical experience should not be one of misery, but should be one of joy, and should be one that we relish. And if I can have that in my life and help others have it in their lives, then I will consider myself to have lived a successful physical experience.
I really feel Unity can help the spiritual evolution of everyone on the planet just be more universal in nature, less exclusive, more accepting, more tolerant, more forgiving of all kinds of people. We're all the divine spirit in the physical form, and we just have different expressions. So I really see it as a unifying force and principle for the planet.
This is not just a Sunday kind of faith. This is a practice every single day, every single moment of your life. And as we're in the community doing all of our life activities, what that means is we are living these principles in the community.
The first Unity principle, God is everywhere present in everyone, in us, through us, around us. I would say the inclusion and the love of that, knowing that we are all one.
This message of love, peace, and inclusion has made a way for many spiritual ministers to follow. The ordained senior minister roster of Unity of Nashville, which includes female, African Americans, and gays, is reflective of this mission of inclusivity, which is extended across the board. During the 1980s, and during a time when it was almost unheard of among most faith-based religions, Unity of Nashville had as its senior minister an African-American male presiding over a predominantly white congregation.
And she's always been sort of a hero. Many of the old line Unity teachers have been heroes to me because of these dynamic ideas that they were talking about 100 years ago. If you think about that, in the culture that we live in, which is steeped in pretty traditional Christianity, these people were way ahead of their time.
Together they discovered the solution to helping humans evolve to a new level of consciousness and reality by making only positive interpretations to cultivate a reconnection of the divine within. This mystical formation today continues to fill us with ultimate energy and love.
It's such a great opportunity for Unity. There's no limit to what we can do to be a light in the Nashville community.
Somebody once told me life is the greatest gift we have. So tell me, why do we miss all the things we never had?
What about sunscreen? Yes. And razors. Yep. That's great. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let me give you a hug.
Thank you so much.
This is our community care, homeless ministry that we do once a month, if you want to carry that up. We bring down toiletries that are donated by our church members. So you're going to stand here, and when we're ready, you ask if they need a bag, okay? That's your job.
Guys, we're gonna start like on one side, like in a single file line.
We set up with our friends that serve every week, serve food, and we pass out the toiletries. So it's a fun experience. It's a hands-on.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day. So it's just great.
It's all about paying it forward, giving back to make sure that we all can live in abundance. And God hears, he's up there.
I would love to see Unity have bigger and even greater presence in the Nashville community, as well as around the world, just growing.
We are all good. We are a direct representation of God, and God is good, and there's only one God. So again, we're all one and we're all good. So no matter what the circumstances, if you look hard enough and deep enough, even in the worst situation, you're gonna see there is good.
Okay, one.
And are we looking at this camera or this camera? Which camera are we looking at?
You're gonna look at Jeff's camera first.
For the spoken word, you're looking at this camera right here. Right?
Okay, again.
Yo soy un hijo de Dios.
I am a child of God.
Unity Youth are exceptional spirits sharing their talents and love, and they are our future.
I am joy.
I am peace.
I am love.
I am inclusion.
We are Unity.
What I've learned during youth ministry, that children teach us a whole lot. I learned so much about how to be authentic, how to accept people as they are, and how to live in the moment, and how to live in wonder.
Our youth ministry program is so powerful in training and nurturing our children's spiritual growth. And then to witness them as they become teenagers. And yes, they're teenagers all the way. They are typical teens, and yet they are not. They inspire me so much. Their level of spiritual development is astounding to me.
What are you putting in? Oh, you're putting in a rock? Breathe. Okay. I'm going to put in... Oh, that's a good one, Maddie.
Wait, what was it?
What was yours?
One day my daughter, who had been living in Baltimore, called and asked me what I was doing, and I told her I just finished reading the Daily Word. And she said, well, Mom, you know, when I was living in Baltimore, there was a Unity Church there. And I said, oh, no, they don't have a church. They just do this Daily Word, because I'm a Miss Know-It-All. And she said, no, they really do. So when I hung up, I looked in the phone book, because that's archaic. Now they don't have phone books. But at that time, I looked in the phone book, and surely enough, there was a Unity Church listed, and I called. And Gladys Drew answered the phone. Gladys was the librarian, and we just called her our shepherdess. She was just so knowledgeable. She talked to me about 2 hours that day, told me all about Unity, and invited me to visit. I did, and to hear that God wasn't sitting up on a throne looking down here and gonna punish us for everything we did was the most refreshing, uplifting message I could have gotten. And it won me over right then. I've been here ever since, and that's been 40 years. I love it. It's the same thing. I mean, it's still just a learning experience. You know, I don't know it all. If I did, I'd be like a lot of people, not come to church. But I come every Sunday because there's still something to learn.
We are here to create. And one of the great blessings of this particular culture that we call New Thought Unity is that this is a creative endeavor. Creating health, creating opportunity, creating relationships, creating excitement in your own life. This is the work that we get to do.
Unity founders brought about a New Age thought around the power of prayer. How does that work?
Affirmative prayer?
Yes, affirmative prayer.
The basic idea of affirmative prayer is, again, as Emerson says, to contemplate life, the facts of life from the highest point of view. It is about being mindful that there is that of me, which we call Christ presence, Christ consciousness, but there is that of me that is capable of doing, handling, healing, or creating anything that I would want in my life. So prayer is taking the opportunity to remember the truth. And in the remembrance of the truth, creation begins.
You have to engage in a practice that is a daily reminder of who you are as a person as you strive to be the embodiment of God's full intent. For me, prayer is that centering moment for me to wipe away all the static, all the distractions, and center on what is most important, which is, what is my purpose? What is it that I am trying to do, and what is it that God is calling on me to do?
And so learning about positive prayer and affirmative prayer and realizing that God isn't waiting to give me anything. God already has everything and I already have it. I just have to align myself, my consciousness with God's image of me. And it was a very different way to pray, and it's made a big difference in my life.
Eric Butterworth, author of the book Discovering the Power Within You, states, when people develop this ability to see from God consciousness and project this consciousness, then we will progressively unfold the millennium of heaven on earth. And as Unity teaches us, we are all here to make the world a better place, and heaven on earth is unveiled.
I think this campus is practically home for me, honestly. I'm really committed to this, and my life surrounds the church here. It's a really big part of me. I mean, I try to share with my friends what church means to me and what Unity is and how it affects my life, because honestly I think I'd be lost without this church. This church has really had an impact on my life, and I think everyone should come to Unity. I think we'd all be better off coming to Unity and really finding who we really are. And it's definitely nice to come as a teenager, because this is only the beginning of my life, and since I started off at the beginning, that I would have a huge impact on my entire life. There's no words to explain how much it means to me. I mean, I don't think I could put it into words, except I could really just say that everyone should come to Unity. We're a family here.
free to have our own views, free to love whomever we choose, free to speak our minds. It takes all sorts and it takes all kinds.